Brittany Muller is one of my favorite AI experts in the world. She has a very realistic and scientific understanding of the space, and she presents it so well. I think this, in fact, is the most important AI post I have read yet this year. And the reason is because it dispels a notion too many people have a problem with. Why is this so critical? It's because we have all seen so many people say, hey, I asked ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity or Gemini or Google's AI mode why it gave me a particular answer. And the reasoning that it gave me back told me more things about how it works. And so now I understand the sources that it uses and all this kind of stuff. But it's not true. This is false. You get this weird answer. You think to yourself, why did you say that? LLMs are not a SQL database that contain a set of information that you can query against. They're not logging anything internal about like how their systems work. They're not truth engines. They are statistical lotteries and predictors of next tokens or next words. Probability machines, exactly what Brittany calls them here. It works like this, right? Essentially, when you say, what's the capital of France? The LLM breaks it down into numbers, into tokens, right? And then it says, hey, the most likely token based on our model of all the rest of the words around capital of France is Paris. And so that's the answer that we're going to return almost all of the time. And with some scrubbing and some, basically editorial input into the model, they're able to return that 100% of the time. And that's why you get these replies that seem probably right, especially on obvious stuff almost all the time. The sky is, and the LLM's right word model returns blue, because blue is the thing that most of the time should be in there. But sometimes it might say clear, or it might say somewhat cloudy, because that appears in there if you ask about the sky in Seattle, for example. We at SparkToro, Amanda and I like to call LLMs spicy autocomplete. Because that's kind of what they are. And I can prove it to you. So last month, we asked people to volunteer, put their information into the survey, and help us basically take exactly the same question and ask LLMs over and over and over again, like 100 times per. And we had more than 600 people filled out the form. We broke them into groups of 200 each, and then we asked enough so that we got 100 responses for exactly the same input, right? So they all put in the same prompt. I'll give you an example. We asked them to input the prompt, what are the best chef's knives under $300 for a home cook? And my answers, the Wusthof classic 8-inch and the made-in 8-inch chef's knife, those were not the answers other people got. In fact, almost no two people got the same list of brands, which of course has implications for whether you should track your brand in there. But when we broke this down, what we looked at is, the brand, the number of mentions in total, the times it was rank number 1, rank number 2, rank number 3, and other ranks. And you can see, it's all over the place. It's almost as though ChatGPT is just a spicy autocomplete. It's running a statistical lottery of the next token it should show. And then when you ask it, how did you determine that these were the best knives? It gives an answer that is a lie. It's not because it's intending to lie. It's because it doesn't know the truth. It doesn't know anything. The only thing it can do when you ask it, how did you determine these, is give you the same thing it gave you in the initial response, right? The statistical lottery of probable next words, next tokens. But why, when 100 other people asked ChatGPT the same thing, did it show a bunch of different brands? And then it goes off about how best is a subjective word, which of course is a non-answer in itself. But that's because the model just didn't have a predictive thing to say, oh, well, that's because ChatGPT works this way. Because it doesn't tell you how it works. It doesn't even know how it works. It only knows next tokens. This is the only answer that's the truth. The most likely token is the thing that's going to appear. And yes, granted, people are going to jump into the replies and they're going to say, oh, retrieval augmented generation means that it's not just most likely tokens from the original model, but also ones that are coming from, I grant you that. It's also crawling the web. It's also doing Google searches and that kind of thing, and then returning results from that and using the text from those. Sure. But it's still fundamentally a probability spicy autocomplete machine. And that's why this is the most important AI Post of the Year, because if you don't understand this and you don't understand how AI works, you are going to really fall apart when you start applying it to your professional career or your life decisions.